Of course, you may not be running Remote App programs just from Windows 10 devices. There is also support for iOS and Android. Clients always access Remote App programs by using the Remote Desktop Connection app, which you can download from the appropriate store. This app is included by default Windows clients, so you don't need to do anything. But for iOS and Android, you've got to get that from the appropriate store. To install the Remote Desktop app on iOS, use the following procedure. First of all, open the App Store on your iOS device. Locate and install the Microsoft Remote Desktop app. Click Install and then click Accept the licensing terms. Open the RD Client app. Tap the plus icon and then select Remote Resource Feed. Enter the feed URL just as we did in the previous session and your account details and click Save. Select the invitations listed on the screen to accept the associated Remote App programs. After you've accepted the invitations, the list of apps you have to access will be downloaded to your device and made available to you. It's a very similar process for Android. Use the following procedure. Open the Play Store, locate the Microsoft Remote Desktop app, click Install and Accept, open the RD Client app, click the plus icon and then select the Remote Resource Feed, enter the URL and then click Save, select the invitations listed, and after accepting them, the list of apps that you have will be downloaded to your device and made available. Of course, there may be devices on which you do not wish to install the Remote Desktop client. For those devices, you can use the Remote Desktop Web Access feature. This enables users to access applications through a special website. RD Web Access provides a secure way to present remote applications to users that don't wish to use a single device to access their Remote App programs, or just want to quickly access a program through a web browser. A typical URL is the domain name /rdweb. In the demonstration, I'll show you how to implement RD Web Access. On your server in Server Manager in the Remote Desktop Services node, click on the Overview tab and then click under Deployment Overview, Tasks, and then choose Edit Deployment Properties. On the RD Web Access tab, you can see the URL that users must use to connect. Under your collections, locate the Remote App Programs heading and you can see the various published programs. If you do or do not want to make a program available through Web Access, RD Web Access, you can select the program, choose Edit Properties, and then specify whether it or not it will be available through RD Web Access. So for Calculator, I'm going to say no. I'll now switch to a client computer and sign in. In this case, there's a user called Claire. And then to access RD Web Access, I use a web browser. I can use Internet Explorer or I'll use Microsoft Edge. And if I enter the URL, well, it's there already. In this case, it's to the server name, but typically you might configure that as the domain name. Okay, so we're prompted to sign in. And then click Sign In. And as you can see, I've now got 3 programs. Remember, if we disabled the ability for calculators to show in Web Access, and then I can select one of these other programs, and it will run as if locally, but running, of course, on the Remote Desktop server. So let's try WordPad. And there we are. We can see it's establishing a Remote App session. And there's WordPad running, and as you can see, to all intents and purposes, it's running as a local program. If we switch to the server, however, and refresh here, we can see that Claire's connected. If we wanted to, we could disconnect her, but there she is. In the demonstration, you saw how to implement RD Web Access.